Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I just wanted to go ahead and do a real quick video based on a suggestion or a question that I have from another viewer. Edward Wicht, 5271, he asks, would like to hear how you go about catching or locating fish during pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn. Do you start where they spawn and work out until you hit them versus starting out and working in? At what point do you switch from one to the other and then switch back? Points and transitions, or you also scanning open water for suspended fish with forward-facing sonar? Mainly interested in how you go about finding them. Just a suggestion. I appreciate all your efforts, especially in your current situation. Thank you for that very much, Edward. This is obviously multiple different questions on here. But really, I want to kind of focus in on the how do you locate fish during the pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn. And really, I kind of want to hone in on the pre-spawn and the spawn, and how I kind of go through that process. So let's go ahead and go to this. We'll come back to the screenshot I have here of the question. But let's go ahead and screen record. Okay, we're going to be using the Navionics app. All right, so right here we've got a little spawning pocket. This one is on Watts Bar Lake in Tennessee. This is actually a pocket I haven't fished before, so I'm just using it as an example. I don't know if you know what I'm about to say is exactly how these fish set up, but I'm pretty sure it is to some extent. There may be some other hot spots that you just don't know about, but essentially during the pre-spawn, and when I'm talking about pre-spawn, I'm not talking about, because a lot of people can consider pre-spawn all the way down into the 40s, you know, just prior to the spawn. But really, to me, the pre-spawn period really starts when the water temps get in kind of the mid 50 range. You know, when the water temps are rising consistently and they're in that mid 50s to like 60-degree range, you know. And there's different parts of the pre-spawn. There's the part where the fish are coming from their wintering areas, and there's also the immediate pre-spawn where those fish are like right next to where those fish are going to spawn. Where you know, usually the females kind of hold off, and the males are starting to roam the shallows. So after like a few days of really warm sun, you start seeing that dynamic where you're just catching a bunch of small fish up shallow, but then you pull out a little bit deeper and you start catching those big, you know, pre-spawn females that are full of eggs. So essentially what we've got here is we've got this beautiful, you know, spawning pocket. It's got a lot of you know, little protected pockets in here within this creek, and especially from a north wind. And that's one thing that's really important for a good spawning area. It doesn't mean that you're not going to find you know, a good spawning area that is the opposite of what I'm about to say, but generally during the spring, northern pockets, you know, that are protected from a northern wind generally tend to be the best spawning areas. And so you know, obviously you got these two, you've got this little pocket, and the fish will obviously spawn all throughout here, but they'll be more susceptible to a cold north wind on banks like this. So what we've got here, these would be the three little pockets that I think would be the hottest spots in this little bay. And during the wintertime, like early pre-spawn, when the water temps are you know, just barely starting to rise, a lot of fish, and fish are going to live in a lot of different locations. You know, some are going to remain shallow during the spring or during the wintertime, and some are going to be just kind of aimlessly, you know, swimming around here, not aimlessly, but just swimming around suspended, chasing bait. And that's what we're seeing with forward-facing sonar, is people chasing those fish that are feeding on bait just out in the middle of nowhere. We're targeting fish that we've never really targeted before, and so a lot of fish are going to be coming from all different locations. They could be, you know, on these points out here closer to the main lake. They could be on this point right here. They could be, you know, just in the channel here. Okay, so whatever their winter haunts are. But as soon as the water temp starts rising into the mid 50s and the low 60s, these fish start making a transition to the bank or close to the bank. And the first areas that I'm going to look for are like these steeper banks. Okay, so I always look for those steeper banks, and you can see here that this bank is steeper than this bank. However, you know, this is also on the side that doesn't really have the best spawning opportunities for these fish as far as being protected. So like this little spot right here where you've got the tighter contours closest to the shoreline, like this is going to be one of the key places I look for. I'd call this a transition line right here, because you got this like tightly packed contour lines, and then it kind of flattens out again over here. So this is going to be like an area where I would think that these fish would start congregating. You're going to get some bites in this sort of area. Same thing with this right here. This is actually probably one of the best looking secondary points in this pocket, okay? Because you see the contours are really close together, and it's in between these two spawning areas. So you've got the deeper water, the fish come in, and then it starts getting shallow, and then as the water warms, they kind of start congregating in this steeper bank where they still have deep water access. You know, if you get a strong cold front, they can still move back out, chase some shad, and then as soon as it warms up, they can come back. And then as soon as the water temps start getting really in the low 60s, the males are going to start roaming into the backs of these pockets, okay? And these flatter areas where they're going to spawn, those are the fish that are going to be up first. And then after that, the females are going to be kind of staging close nearby. So if you find some wood, you find some grass, any type of, and really wood is a very important type of cover this time of year, because hard cover, I think, is really important for bass females. I think that the reason why they like hanging around wood so much during the spawn or the pre-spawn is because the females like to rub and loosen up the eggs against the wood. That's just something that I think happens. I know that a lot of fish species need to do that to loosen up their eggs, and so I think that has a lot to do with why bass, big females love wood cover this time of year. So they'll be very close to, they'll be in the slightly deeper water, like the lake I'm fishing right now in Arkansas. All the big fish that I've caught, all the big females have been, just, probably a couple feet deeper than the males. If I cast towards the shore, I'm catching a 1.5 pound male. If I cast into the wood that's, 3 foot, or 4 foot versus a foot, I'm catching giant females. So that's essentially what I look for, is you got to look for those just subtle little steep spots in a spawning area. Those are going to be very key. Like even yesterday, I was fishing this creek, and it had 2 little indentations where the contours went deeper. I could look on my 2D sonar, and then all of a sudden I'm like, well, gosh, I should be in only a couple feet of water, but I was actually in 4 foot of water, because you had a little bit deeper pocket that went closer to the shoreline. And I caught a fish pretty much every single cast on both of those different locations, just because they had a little bit more deep water access. So it's just really important this time of year to look for deeper water areas. So I always look for the good spawning habitat first to answer that question, and then work my way out. I think that is a much more efficient way to find fish during the spring, because you know where they're going to go, you know the areas that are suitable for spawning, and all you have to do is work your way out by using maps. So anyways, guys, that is a short answer to the question. I know that there was more to that question. We might approach the other questions within Edward's general question in future videos, but hopefully this kind of helps you figure out the mystery of finding bass during the pre-spawn, the spawn, and also the post-spawn is kind of a reversal of the pre-spawn, but it does get a little bit different, and we'll do another video based on that. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Edward, for the question. It was a great question and I enjoyed answering it. If you guys enjoy this content, you find it helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you consider hitting that subscribe button, and also just letting me know what you would like to see on a future video, just like Edward did. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. I'm going to see you out on the water. Trust the process.